Hey guys, what's going on? This is Hala Pablo. Thought we'd do another analysis video on Bitcoin, a real short one since we've seen to take another shot at the resistance levels, which is what I pretty much figured it would do based on the extent of the pullback that we had. So let's look at that first part here. On this chart here, we have Bitcoin on the daily. We see these two previous tops. These are clear Wyckoff distribution tops, complete with the PSY areas, which is the preliminary supply or primary supply areas, with the first top with just a buying climax, and then we have a series of up thrusts. The last one, the highest ones are usually the UTAD, and then that's the up thrust after distribution. And then we come back down. Here's the LPSY as we come back down. And then we had another top here. Here would be the macro primary support with the buying climax and the UTAD and the series of LPSYs that brought us all the way back down to the previous low that we had back in this area here, this low area, from June to November of 2022. And then from there we have consolidated and we've come back in. We've entered into another bull run, which to me was a counter trend movement, but since it's exceeded the previous high, this is a legitimate bull run that we've entered into since beginning the markup back in January or December of 22. And it looks like to me we've reached another top, and we've had a pullback of about 15%. When we topped out here, we've come back down about 17.4%, anyway, less than 20. And this to me is the buying climax. This was the buying climax, and we're going to take another stab. Now this means that we're going to have up thrusts. This would be the buying climax, the automatic rally, and then the secondary test. So this could be the secondary test that we're in right now, where we're making another attempt at the high, which would be the trading range resistance. Could draw the line. Let's see if I can get a line going here to show you what I mean. Horizontal ray, there. That would be the resistance, which is at the buying climax. We've come back down. The 17.4% retracement would be the automatic rally to the south. And then we're coming back up now, and then this would be the secondary test. Now, the secondary test went up through, we've already been up through mid-range, the 0.5 Fibonacci, which is between the automatic rally and the buying climax. And so what I anticipate is we make our way back up and we remitigate this liquidity void that happened at the buying climax, whatever that was, 73,000. And from there we can come back down again and have a series of up thrusts, have a series of consolidations within this range. At some point, I expect us to go through the previous ATH here, 73,000. Perhaps mark up to around to the $80,000 level, and then from there that would be the UTAD like we saw in these previous tops, and we would come back down in the macro sense, pass through the trading range, and with a series of LPSYs, last points of supply. How far down we retrace after we distribute from the UTAD, it's kind of hard to tell. See, we didn't come down that far from here. So we'll, in this previous high, so this was a 56% drop on that one. But then the one that came afterwards, all the way down to the 16,000, that was 76%. So those are the real retracements. Those are the macro retracements that we're all looking for. And that's why I'm not really going heavy in these until we we enter into a retracement that at least exceeds 15%. I mean, 15% is just an automatic rally. That's why I'm thinking this is an automatic rally. So this that we just came out of is this is this up here, and there's going to be subsequent attempts at the highs as the bulls and the bears go at it. Ultimately, the bears will prevail. I think we've already entered into a range to where the end game is going to be a sell-off, but it's going to exceed the high of 73,000. So it's going to be somewhere between 73 to 80,000, somewhere in there. If you're going to momentum trade, you definitely want to be careful. You're on thin ice. As you can see, there are people who bought these UTADs. There are investors who bought these UTADs thinking that just because it broke the previous high of the buying climax, it was going to keep going. But then what happens is we see supply building. See how supply was building throughout this range here, this valley and this range. Here, I'll show you what I mean. I'll just use a brush. See these red spikes, how they grow. They were growing on this pull off here. So we have supply. It's not as conspicuously increasing as it did in this past range, but it is increasing. Usually what we have, we had this high demand, which brought us up to this top. We had a high demand here, this high single spike, which brought us up to this UTAD. Now on this one here, we didn't really even have a lot of demand, which would tell you right off the bat that this is the actual UTAD of this top. See, all of these, since it's fractal, this series of buying climaxes, all of this comprises a fractal distribution top all of its own. So we have this on the macro, but then we also have these two micros within the macro, all of it comprising the fractal distribution range. And so we could have the same thing here. This could be this is the buying climax, but this could be the BCLX of a whole other system. So we have an upthrust here. We could have another upthrust after we retrace. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. So say we have a series of up thrusts, and then we mark down from here. We can have an area of consolidation here, and then we can come back up, and this will even exceed it, like this one. This second up thrust exceeded the first one, and so we could have the same thing here. And then here we can go up into $100,000 or something. But I think first we're going to have a area of profit taking, of retracement that will amount to a bull trap. The price will retrace. I don't know how far down it can go. It could go all the way back down to to remitigate the prior lows, 16,000, but that's probably unlikely. I mean, there's just so much strength right now in Bitcoin. I don't really see it retracing that far, although I do see a sizable retracement that is going to bring us back down through trading range support, this area here, this low, the 60,000, quite possibly down into the 40s, mid 40s, or even 30s before we see an area of consolidation, and then and then another attempt at the upside, going through the 73,000, going even higher for the second time. But I don't really see that going in this top here before we sell off. So that could happen in late summer, because this stuff takes time to play out, guys. This here, just to give you an idea, let's see if we can let's see, before we date range. Let's just do a date range from this buying climax to the UTAD. That's like, or this LPSY, that's 84 days. 84 days. So we just started this. We just had a buying climax. Hasn't been that long. It's been like 5 days, 5 or 6 days, right? It's been about a week, I guess. So we're talking, 3 or 4 months it takes for these things to play out before you hit that UTAD. So we have a we have a little pump. We're back up at 70.8. That's great. Don't be surprised if we come back down around 72, if it makes it up to 72, 73, and then we come back down to retest these lows, kind of like it did here. See how it always comes back down? The price comes back down. And then it goes back up again to have an upthrust, or see, we had a buying climax, then we had an upthrust or sign of strength, and then we had an upthrust after distribution. But in this one, we had a buying climax, and it went straight to the UTAD, to the upthrust after distribution. There was no inter thrust between the buying climax and the upthrust after distribution. Sometimes it just goes right into a UTAD, and then it sells off on the macro. So it could do that here. We could have an upthrust up to 72, 73, 74 even, because the upthrusts usually go higher than the buying climax. Then we come back down, maybe another 15%, and then we go up again once more. And this one, that third one, can reach up to $80,000, $83,000, $85,000. And then, but that is going to be a bull trap, a mega bull trap, and you'll be able to tell that because of the lack of demand, even though the price is just burning up, man. There's hardly any demand, like you see here on this UTAD. There was hardly any demand. Everything is supply is spiking out instead. So we want to keep our eyes on these next few weeks as Bitcoin rallies and keeps rallying in this current range. We want to keep an eye on demand. So far, we have high demand, so this is legit. There's a lot of power behind this. But on the second and third upthrusts that are coming, demand could start to taper off. If that happens, then you know they're planning an upthrust after distribution. So don't get deceived. Don't buy into don't buy the top thinking you're going to hold and it's going to keep going, because that's usually when the macro retracements come, and we could be entering into another area of strong bearish bias. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let you go at that. It's been about 10 minutes. Pretty good. So I'll let you guys know if I see anything else. I know it's been a while. I'm going to try to make these videos a little shorter, a little more concise. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section. Check out my trading view charts. Check out we have a trading group also, where we just don't look at Bitcoin. We look at all kinds of other cryptos, and I give my 2 cents. I also let you know what I'm buying, where I'm getting in, my Fibonacci retracements and extension levels to where I'm DCAing in certain coins and certain tokens. So hopefully that's of help to you. None of this is financial advice. Let me know what you think. We'll talk to you soon. Strong hands, and yeah, guys, be safe in the markets. Okay, bye-bye. Adios.